and they're paired, one on each side. And when we get down to the coccyx, we have one ganglion. Yeah? And this is called the ganglion impar, meaning not paired. There it is. Male, female on either side your wish, which become male, female, married together down there. So this finally, the blood vessel here, in here, finally goes into that blood vessel and sends its messages into the blood. Now don't think that those impulses just contract and relax. They do two things. They do that, plus they're sending their little impulses in there which become chemistry of water. So when these impulses, which are inimical, go into a cell, now what's going to happen to that cell in there? Not going to be normal. And our basic constituent of a cell is a granule, which means a small grain or small seed. Now you heard the story, what came first, the chicken or the egg, and I sure realized it was the egg that came before the chicken. Now this environment changes, and when it does, some of these granules start to germinate. And when they germinate, they send out just what I said. A bacterium, virus, a worm, any pestilent. So, let's get back here. Get your hands on here, and you do what you have to do. Now remember what D.D. said, that the basic principle of chiropractic is tone. And when you serve, you send in a tone which resonates through up and down that whole spinal column, which also resonates throughout the whole body. Because there are times when you do serve certain people, they'll put their head up and say, "Doc, I felt that right into my fingertip. Did you ever get that? Oh, my toe. Oh, that went right to my toe." That tone going in there, which resonates, starts to clean up all the debris in here, and it starts to take off. Remember, cleanliness is next to holiness. Being whole, W-H-O-L-E, being all. Cleanliness must be. Without cleanliness, we cannot be all. Our insides have to be as clean as possible until the day comes when they're perfectly clean. But in the meantime, we'll keep them as clean as possible so life can be sweeter for us. The reason why we have to keep taking chiropractic services or adjustments is because this damn stuff builds up faster then it can be taken out. So it, boom, send that resonance in there, all that debris that's so clogged up breaks up into powder, pulverizes it. Now the blood vessels can absorb it. Are you happy now? Huh? Now, each one of these seeds in here is a different type. And the best place to see these seeds in a cyton, which is a cell body of the neural system. And in there they're called the granule or nissal granules. Remember them? The nissal granules. And they can germinate, come into existence. Now from where did those seeds come? I don't know. I guess nobody knows. They're there. But we don't have to stop because we don't know from where those seeds come. They're there. So let's continue. So when I went to school, there were no such things as viruses, only bacteria. And let me tell you that the majority of chiropractors wouldn't even accept bacteria. They said there were none. Of course, this is when the big argument started. Bacteria can't cause disease. Now, I'm a rebel. So I go to my teacher, and I said, if bacteria, if they are there, as you say, don't cause disease, then what the hell are we afraid of taking vaccination? Shouldn't bother us, huh? Yet we're dead set against vaccination, which it should be. But we have to get consistent. Did you ask yourself this question? I did. I remember when I asked Dr. J. Robinson Foyer that question. I was walking down 42nd Street between 5th and 6th Avenue. I was taking him to dinner. And all of a sudden he stopped. He started jumping up and down. There, I said to him, what the hell did I do? He finally cooled down. He said to me, who told you to ask me that question? I said, I got it myself. You got it yourself? I said, yeah, when? A couple of weeks ago. He said, you know, it took me years to get that question. Here you get it. You're in school. How long? About a year. And you got it already? You see? I'm a rebel. Think. Make everything fit right. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong. Maybe not in what's going on, but in the way we explain it. It's our explanation that counts. Now, what do? You clean up this environment. If there are any other seeds of this type in there, they will not germinate any longer. You follow? You have a ghetto, and you throw it down, and your politicians, they are the hell with it. Never say that way. What will happen? You'll have mice, rats, all kinds of vermin, all kinds of pestilence. Huh? That's what happens in there too. Doesn't get cleansed out. You want to put up a new building? What do? You have to clean it up. And that's the same with us. We're breaking down, letting out. Breaking down, letting out. But our catabolism is far greater than our building or the anabolism. Should be metabolism. Got it? Okay. Okay. This is suffice to get you going. Interested? Go to that library. Copy that book. And if they stop you, tell them I tell you to do it. It's my book. you have answers, questions. No? Select calls, please. Call me. Or get me down again. You know, when I start explaining this, and I went out and fought with many MDs, and the MDs that with whom I fought or debated, I would say, before we had the debate, not here, get an audience and I'll debate you. Why do you want an audience? None of your business. You want to debate me? Get an audience. I know I can't convince him, but if you're sitting in that audience, that's what I want to convince. You got it? And I did. And I've had many people run after me after I debated them. Hey, that was good. Here's my card. Here's my card. Now you know why I had the biggest practice in the state of New York. Remember, this is chiropractic and nothing else is this. You're a chiropractor. And this is chiropractic once we get to the top. Because a tick, tock, is the time, the tone. And this is what we're going to have, is the time and the tone. Okay? Later on, we'll have questions. If you have any answers, we'll go with this. See how easy neurology is? Temporal, occipital, parietal, frontal, and deep in here, the central lobe. Well, we got 5 lobes. One is hidden. Now, you wanted to know, this is the upper hand. You don't believe me? Take a look. The lateral side of this. What's this? The thumb? What is it called here? Temporal. That's right. Look. This is B, that means to live. This means to be balanced. And when you're in the full tone, that would look perfect. I'll walk on the side so you can see it.
Hang it up. Hang it up. Just hang it up.
Tell them when I'm not here. Right? You got it now? Sit down. This is, like here, the occipital. In here is the parietal. The frontal lobe. Now let's look. Keep this in mind, and I want to bring you downstairs again. Inside of the chest, inside of the thorax, if you like, chest is the way. We call that the heart. And look, when you hear well, you will have the art, but you have to be balanced. Get the word? When you hear well, when you hear things, and they are balanced, then you have the art. Then you can do it without thinking. Automatic. Action, quick. Right here, A, B, node. And this is where the pulse ought to be starts. Now, we have to look at words. And a pulse is a legume, and a legume is a particular type of seed, like a pea, a lentil. So in here, thank you, that's the one I want. Thank you. So in here is the origin of the pulse, or the beat, or the tick, tock, tick, tock. Back at that. You guys don't mind if I play the movie there. So you see, we in South Center call that the seed. Now, a person has a localized cancer such as a prostate, and the MDs treated without surgery with radium. Well, what do they call that piece of radium that they put in there? Anybody know? Juliana had it. Thank you. Juliana had it. Mayor Juliana. Seed. So what does that seed? Piece of radium or new radium. It's living. You're going to see a piece of radium, you will see pulsing light. It is the living stone. It is a living seed. And this here works automatically. Very scientific, see? So we have another one up around here, and I'm going to put it here. This is the SA node. There was another seed here. And this gets information from inside of our body and outside of our body. The outside we call the sympathetic neural system, and that which is inside is called the parasympathetic neural system. You got it? Simple. The inside has to come up here. The outside has to come up here too. Sympathetic, parasympathetic. And whatever's going on the outside, this guy knows. But whatever's going on in the inside, this guy knows too. When I say guy, that's male and female, okay? Both of them. Double C, male, female. And they act accordingly. If the outside has fear, this is what it's going to hear. And what does it do? What does the heart do? Rushes. Bum, 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 bum. But if it's calm, doesn't have to. When you eat a nice meal and you're calm, what happens? The outside one practically goes to sleep. And the inside one, which is the inner one, the parasympathetic one, starts to function. So, listen to nature. When you eat, do not fight, do not discuss things that irritate you. Be calm. Enjoy it. Have a little glass of Pinot, you won't see. I noticed I was fed today. Everybody ate out of paper plates. They gave me, I never asked for it. They gave me a regular plate. This is why I like to eat. Eating to me is a joy. It's a pleasure. It's a gift. I don't like fast food. I don't want to eat no, on a run. I'd rather not eat. I'll wait until I got time. I don't want just to pump all the adrenaline all over the place for no reason whatsoever. If I saw a line out there, oh, I want that to pump, and I'm going to run. That's another story. And that comes maybe once in a lifetime, even at 92. Maybe. So far it hasn't happened. So you see, it's not hard, is it? It's not hard. All the insides, like the intestines, the stomach, has started working harder. And so all that blood that's in our so-called outside or somatic muscles must go inside. Just enough is out here to keep it alive. It does. So, listen, here. Listen to what chiropractic is, and you will hear it, and the art will come automatically. Okay? If I, or any of us, take a look. The spirits are playing tricks with me. Now, I'm looking at the brain, not from the side, or this side, but from the top, above, down. What do I see? See that? The heart, punch it. Yeah? Okay, now, when I had my spiritual friends helping me, they always said to me, make parallels, make parallels. So now we know something about the heart. Oh, one more thing here. There was a line here called the bundle of fish. All right? Don't forget it now. H-I-S-S. This. It's discovered by a man called this. Be careful with the little names on it. So, now look, let's look. We'll say this going up in front. That's not a good drawing, but you get the idea. See it? The heart, looking down. This is the front. Apex, this is the base, go down. Now, here, when we make parallel, oh, let's take the whole thing here. This is the bundle of fish inside, but over here we call it the corpus callosum. And corpus, you can see that this thing is rotten right to the heart. touch, hot, right. Now, corpus callosum, meaning dense. And that is parallel, but when you look at it this way, and when a child is born, how is the back shaped? Is it that way? It doesn't have curves in it, you know, one curve. This is the vertebral column in the flesh. This is segmented, and we have, if you make it three-dimensional, you have fibers going all the way from one end to the other, this way, and then you have fibers going that way, and this way, and we call these the commissural fibers, huh? Remember? Don't we have fibers coming out of the vertical column? Parallel. Yeah? But this is thanks. Now this is an appendix. I have a little pun here. I hope nobody gets insulted. Okay? Now suppose I call that what the heart is. What is it? Bundle of this. What do we got? This is why the people are not happy yet and not settled. You're not the only ones. We're all the same. We're still the same. It's in a panic. Two of them merged. Yeah, they come together. They're functioning together to a degree. There's no agreement yet. Now I'll tell you why. Because over here, we have another seed, which is parallel to the heart. We call that the AV node. And over here, we call it the epithalamus. Seed, center, nucleus, whatever you like. So what does the word thalamus mean? Chamber. And who's in this chamber? What's this mean? Up. Up. You ever hear of the upper chambers? In law? You've been in law. Huh? That's where the judges, the real judges sit, huh? Yeah, come in my chamber. And inside here where the third ventricle is, we have the thalami, two. Old days we call them the optic thalami, but they're separated. And they have a bridge across it. We call that the intermediate mass. But it's a bridge. Now one eye and a bridge. Then we have another lower one. We call it the hypothalamus, found in the, not the tubercularian, infundibulum. See, I had to look it up. Infundibulum. I did that. So you see things come in threes. What comes in twos, comes in threes. And the lowest one is the infundibulum, the hypothalamus, and they have made experiments showing that this is where rage comes from, anger comes from. Crazy of that guy that shot the councilman in Manhattan. I guess some of you heard about it. Assassination. This is where all this comes from. This is where they're thinking from. And they come a little higher, they get into the thalamus. Then we go a little higher, we get into the epithalamus. And that's where we go. Now in the epithalamus, corpus callosum, and down here, follow it? And down here it goes like this, but one goes that way, one goes that way, it's called the fornix. And at the junction of both the epithalamus, the corpus callosum and the fornix, we call that the splenium. And the splenium means to tie together, to tie the low one with the upper one so that we can get information. And now this is the one you've been waiting for. Now, there is two fibers coming out, and we call that the appenduli, meaning those straps that steer the horse, the bridle straps. And over here, now I put it that way. And that's the pineal gland. Now listen carefully. This is the gland that fell asleep. If you look at this, you'll find it in between here. You will not find it standing straight out. You will find it down. And that is man, and that is the fall of man. And that is the cause of all disease, because it is fallen. This is why we have subluxation, this is why we have cancer, and this is why we have all things. Now this must resurrect. Sound familiar? Yeah. Where is this? In all of us, not only one person out there, all of us. And this is what we're doing as a chiropractor. We are assisting people to let that man rise, better known as the Messiah religiously, the Savior religiously, or Christo, or Christ religiously. It's that simple, my dear. It took me better than 35 years to find this out. Did I go to the University of Hard Knocks? You bet I did. But I was persistent, and I had to get the answer. Now, I don't have all the answers yet, but I feel somewhat relieved to know I got this far. And I'm going further. And whatever I get, you get. You know why? She's like a pregnant woman. If she doesn't give birth, she can't have the next child. Now, I don't give it to you. I'm being selfish to give it to you. I can't get more. See? So I'm not a nice guy after all. And I want to share it with you. This is the philosophy that will lead us to this. And once we get here, and this becomes resurrected, the fallen man is dead, but he will come back to life. He, she, and so male, female in there. He, she will come back to life. And when it does, all our philosophy becomes our wisdom. Now, what is wisdom? I had to fight to get what I'm getting. This is wisdom. But once I get this thing awakened, it's not because I will be looking for words at times. When this is awakened, all answers will come automatically. started to clean. That's wisdom. You don't have to say logic. You don't have to use this, that, and the other thing. That is the only truth. There is no other truth. All other so-called truth is called relative truth. This is the absolute truth. This in here is no time. No time. And later I'll tell you about where that is. No time. It's always now. Now, now. And that is justice. Spell it Justice. And when the Lord was looking for Adam and Eve after they ate that forbidden fruit, he came in the cool of the day. I said cool. Cool. Ice. But just is. Yes. It just is, and it can't be anything else. So in Daniel's and Revelation, do not add one word or take one word out. When you get that answer, when you're clean, and you get that answer must not be, I'm going to use a nice low word, monkey around with. Accept it, use it. As bad as it may seem, do it. And I've done some crazy things that I thought, but they worked out for the better. They come out. You tell me which calling, which profession out there. Now I'm not degrading them, they're all doing a good job, but I want to compare them. Which of them is doing this? Tell me. None. But we, those damn fools, in this calling, took this God-given gift and went that way. They bastardized it. They've given you many things that are not necessary. Evaluation is not a necessary thing. Do the masters in either the Old or the New Testament ask the people, what in heavens is wrong with you? Or do they just say, you are now well or whole or sound? No questions asked. People come into your office, all you have to do is put them on the table, take care of them, that's it. Of course you want to be a little more human as I was, good evening, why, or something like that. I know I was in the Navy, as some of you know, and I took care of many people in there. I didn't ask them what was wrong, I just took care of them. And they come back and I just say, boy, you know, I had all pains all over the place and they're all gone. How'd you know what you had to do? I said, I don't know. I act like a big guy now. He said, I don't know. You ever heard the story about the little girl that got well? Woman kissing my hand, Jesus Christ. I'm not Jesus Christ yet. When this happens, then I'll be. But, before I get off here, I will say this. I couldn't do this work alone. Never. I couldn't do it alone. I asked for help, and help came from another dimension. Want to call them spirit guides for a better name? I don't know what to call them. My spirit guides came and helped me. They asked me what I wanted. I said, all I want is to know more so I can assist the people better. And they said, oh, wonderfully said. They said us 3 times, and we will do what we can for you. And they have. This is why I can deliver this little talk tonight, not because of me, but because those who have engulfed me with that spirit, because we had to depend upon this navel, which means, let me write it down, but I'd be glad to get rid of me using all that paper. is N-A-V-O, and the verb, that's a verb too, meaning I, and the so-called infinity is N-A-V-A-R-D. To be energized. I am energized, or by whom? By the navel, by the soul. The soul that we can't see. But that doesn't give us eternity. That doesn't give us wellness until we die. We must die of some sort of a dis-ease. And when we look at those leaves in autumn, changing colors, they are dis-eased. Please believe me. But we admire them, which is good, because we realize that there really isn't death. So it's a continuation. But the continuation with us is, I want to remember me. Who am I? Who am I? Look at the seed. The seed seeds. And when Moses was going to Egypt to alleviate the Israelites, Moses was speaking to the Lord. Moses asked, when I go there, they're going to ask me, who sent me? And the answer was, I am. And you want to know who you are? Right now we're an image, an imitation of the I am. The lower ones are taken over. Substitutes. And some can be prostitutes. Right here. That pineal gland is I am. That pineal gland thinks. That pineal gland sees. Why and how does it do this will be the eternal mystery, but it doesn't. All questions can't be answered, and that's one of them. Accept it. But accept the mystery. The awesomeness. Accept it. Avoid from there. Accept what we are. Accept, even if you're only that. Accept that mystery. Accept that I know this is a pen, a marker. I know who this man is and this man is. Where's my dear? I know Jessica here. I met her when she was 15. That's what she tells me. But she never let me know. That's why she's here tonight. She heard me at 15 years, when she was 15 years old. In Manitoba. That's a long ways ago. Thank you. I know. And all the experiences that I will ever have are recorded in me. And any time I wish to recall them, that doesn't mean I recall the cars back because they're no good. I recall them because I want to be aware of them for a moment. Okay? Now, maybe you like a rest. You know what to do. And when we come back, whatever the gentleman wants, I get up here and talk for a few more minutes. I want to tell you just why this has no time. It's always now. And that, my dear, is called heaven. If you look at the word heaven, you have the word heave. You have to heave yourself up by your bootstraps. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay, Wade, thank you. And thank you.
All right, everybody, let's take like a 10-minute break. Pasquale's got a lot more to talk about, and when we come back, we'll all have an opportunity to share amongst ourselves, questions, and speak in what you like to. There is a place for donations to cover some of the expenses that some of the students have incurred, helping Pasquale get down here and taking good care of them. And if you hadn't already last night, please make your way. Anyway, so be back about 10 minutes, and we got a lot more to do. So.
But there's something I have to tell you before I stop tonight. And after that, Wade will come up and take care of it for me. Now we hear so much of heaven and earth. Now the real earth inside of us is the cerebellum, or as the Romans would call it, the cerebellum. And it is two words. Thank you. And it is two words. And if you look at the first one, the E is really an A, but they changed the vowel so it flows easy. And Keda means wax. And in the old Roman days and other people, they used to take the inner bark of a tree, flatten it out, put wax on it, let it get hard, use a stila, always a stylus, and write on it. Okay? And bellum, so this means the written word. And where did they get that new word from? It's a new word they have to write down, and bellum means war. Okay? And every time we have war, as horrible as it is, the earth is picking up a lot of new experiences, recording it, and as recorders come into us too, and finally end into us, which is the cerebellum. But why is it the cerebellum? It is below the cranial arch. It's on the bottom here. All right? There you go. And next, blue, outside of the cervix of the female, is the only place we find a true arbor vitae, which is the tree of life. So they were thrown out of Eden before they would touch the tree of life and become as gods. Okay? So the war is our cerebellum, which is the small brain. It's a brain. So when people say to you, you're brainy, which brain are they talking about? The high brain works about 7% of its potential. If I had only 7% of electricity going through this bulb, I get a flicker. Okay? Look. This is heaven. This pineal gland is heaven. And we say there's no time in heaven. Now from where does this come? Everything must come from the bottom up. They come from earth, come from nature. And we can perform an experiment around here tonight, and we will bring in the most expensive, awesome instrument you can think of. Don't look there, look where you're sitting, because you are it. And we're going to make that experiment with you, if you care to participate, right? Now we know if I'm standing at the seashore and the water has come as far as it can, means the tide is high. And if I stand here for a couple hours, I will notice that when the water comes in, it's not as far as where my feet were standing. So the tide is going out. And so we call that, as we do with the moon, wax and wane. When it wanes, it's going out. And when the wax, rather, is growing, and waning, it's getting less. And so when the tide goes out, we say it's ebbing. When the tide comes in, we say it's flowing. So this couldn't happen unless there was some sort of a seed in Mother Earth that caused these tides. Mother Earth is alive. Don't anybody kid you, she's not. Otherwise, she could not produce the gold. And I was told that out of all the veins in Earth, where the gold was, and where all the oil was, and where everything else was, after we go into this, Mother Earth will start to replenish the gold, the oil, and so forth and so on. See? So, who's ever willing, just follow me. Now if I breathe in, and I breathe out, I breathe in from the inside, or I breathe out, so I take it from the inside, and if you wish to follow me, let's go. Out. Now that's the out, from inside out. Now let's breathe in. Okay. Now have you noticed, for those who did it, that when we came to the end of the ebb, there was a rest. And when we came to the end of the flow, there was a rest. And it is that rest which is called no man's land, ground zero, according to the scientists. And if you look in Discover, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, they had quite an article on this. But we know this for a long time. And it is in that rest where this pineal gland is. It has no ebb and flow. It has no time. The only thing it has, a multi-dimensional man in there. The man outside of this is a particle. You can take it apart. But the multi-dimensional man cannot be taken apart because it is like a hologram. And a hologram, you know, you tear it to pieces, the smallest pieces is still the man. So you can never destroy the man, even though it may go to sleep. Never, never, never. And it is from here, where the image comes out, that produces the rest of us. But this is the cause, right there. This is why we have wars. This is why we're sick. This is why we have what we call subluxations, which is a symptom of a dis-ease. There is only one dis-ease, but many ramifications of it, which we call symptoms, or this illness and that illness. One dis-ease, and it comes from here. And this is my bringing this talk together, you people. This is it. This is what we've been looking for many years. And this is the first time in this little place that I gave this out publicly. Not even my own subcenter has heard the talk that I gave you tonight, because much of it, even on the morning I left, on Thursday till now, I got much of it, but I gave it to you now. Where else? D.D., huh? Where else? Where else? Well, he started it. He is our papa, and the rest of us are his children. He's the discoverer, and he's the developer, and we continue to develop it. So don't forget that. Now, I'm not saying B.J. didn't do a good job. He did. He was the best salesman in the world. But he was a technique man, and he made chiropractic technique. But D.D. was a man looking for what life was. Read his book and you find out. So somebody had to continue his work. Not that we throw anything away that these other people gave us. We keep everything. So I'm glad that D.D. picture was here tonight, and so was the son, so I could deliver this talk to this fraternity that is a Palmer fraternity. And I thank you.
If you hadn't already, you're probably getting a pretty good sense of the work that it is that we have to do. The more I gain understanding from just being with him and listening to him, it becomes more and more apparent, and I understand more of the work that it is that we're doing, and it's pretty amazing. So thank you, Pasquale. I do want to recognize Ishi Rodriguez for the tremendous help that he did in putting this whole thing together. Self-Center, part of it is just a gathering of a community of chiropractors, and a lot of what happens is just a constant evolution of each other's understanding, and part of that process is getting up and just speaking about where you're coming from, where you're at in your process, anything that's pressing on your mind that you want to share, or just really just what you want to share. The floor is open to you, and then we'll take 3 questions. You have 3 minutes. We'll take 3 questions from the audience. Just a couple of formalities from the audience. After someone presents themselves, there'll be no points made from the audience, only questions. And then once you've worked through what you need to discuss and talk about, and after the questions, Pasquale can help kind of bring that together, whatever it is that you're working on. Okay? I guess I'll just kind of get things rolling a little bit. You don't know me, my name is Wade, and a long time ago, someone asked me what I knew about chiropractic, and my response was nothing at all. And I was pretty young. It was right here in Marietta, Georgia, actually right up the street from here. And so I was intrigued, and I went and I got my first adjustment. And something very powerful awoke within inside of me. And I had no idea what was going on, but it was something that could never be taken away. It was the most powerful experience I've ever had. And since then, I knew exactly my purpose in my life to do. And I knew what I had to do. And so here I am. And constantly evolving my understanding of why I'm here, what I'm doing, and what chiropractic is all about. And the minute I think I know, I don't know. Because I listen to things, people like Pat, and it really brings it home. Recently, listening to someone in our profession who's a true pioneer in involving the art and the philosophy, they said, "Why are we here?" And so we were created expressing this life so that spirit can know itself and can experience itself. And okay, that makes perfect sense. And when I got connected with my purpose, that first adjustment, I knew my purpose, so I wanted to help other people get connected with their purpose. Well, I realized that all our purpose is the same, and that's to serve. I'm going to serve through chiropractic. When I serve someone, they'll get connected with their purpose. And if I am of spirit, and they are of spirit, what is it that I'm serving? I'm serving spirit. And so what could their only purpose be? Is also to serve spirit. However that's going to work for them. However that's going to happen. So I realized that the inherent design of life and all these beautiful expressions is to serve itself. So we are individual expressions of spirit, because the inherent design, spirit is to experience itself, but the only way spirit can and consciousness can evolve is to evolve itself. So that's why I have a relationship with you and everyone I encounter. We are brothers and sisters hand in hand, and our purpose here is to help each other evolve, because we are all of the one. And that put a pretty awesome perspective on things for me. So anyone and everyone that I come in contact with, I deep down know. And sometimes I get busy with my mind and I forget, but it's places like this and being around people like you that I remember. And I'm very grateful for each and every one of you.
How we work the format is there'll be a moderator. I'll moderate for Wade and he'll moderate after that. And so if we have any questions for Wade, raise your hand.
What is spirit? What is spirit? Right now, in my understanding, I use universal intelligence synonymously with spirit. God, spirit, universal intelligence. Use that synonymously. Right now, in my understanding, but I'm still seeking to fine tune.
How does one become more in touch with spirit of their own to project?
For me, we had a conversation last night. We paralleled music and the adjustment, and then the same. And my understanding, when I get adjusted, it allows me to step into the here and now. And when I am in the present, I am connected. And so then these codes, what is already within me, can start expressing itself more cleaner. And then the refinement of the nerve system, where I can actually handle more light using 7% brain potential, used more and more. And the more I am in the here and now, the more I am connected with the spirit. And there's many mediums to do that: art, music, adjusting, serving people, getting adjusted, giving adjusted.
Who's next? Come on. Introduce yourself.
So, my name is Evan Hughes. I think I know about half the people in this room. Somebody, a gymnastics coach that I worked with for a while, gave me kind of my reason for becoming a chiropractic. I knew to do that beforehand, but he was talking about another coach that worked with different areas. He came from Japan and worked with different colleges. Okay. And he said, he was talking about this coach, and he said he raises the level around him wherever he goes. And it's something about the phrase got inside me. I said, well, that's what I want to do with my life. I want to raise the level around me any place that I go. So one of the things I'd like to talk about, I'd love to hear Pasquale's input, is I came from a martial arts background before I got into chiropractic. And in the martial arts, they talk a lot about the differences between different fighting systems. Some come from Japan, some from China, and they all have different basic theories. Some core principles are the same, but there's a lot of different theories out there. And what I found is there's really no good style. There's only good practitioners in anything. Okay? And then I came over to chiropractic, and I found the same stuff happening, both within philosophical circles, and also within the techniques and how to go about the thing. And I've always come back to the same thing. It's not the technique, it's not the philosophy, it's the person doing the thing that makes the difference. So, you know, as part of being in school, I've always tried to hang out with those people that look like they know what they're doing. Also some of the friends I'm with. But also I found that anytime you're striking another method, saying, oh, that's not so good, it's usually coming from weakness in the self. And one of the things I got from listening to Pasquale speak tonight and last night was, he's untouchable. Like, you know, where he comes from his own strength, from the way he developed his system, from his own core, you can't touch him. Nothing you can do. No law, no people, no mess with anything. So that's something I picked up from him that hopefully I can share a little bit with you is, you take care of business in here, you practice any technique you want, it don't matter. You believe anything you want. If you've got it solid in the center, then it comes out. And that's universal. You can bag groceries and heal people. So that's one of the things I learned from Pasquale.
Any questions?
When you talk about staying centered, how do you find your center?
What is it? The UHK? University of Hard Knocks? I don't know. There's something my mother taught me. My mother's a psychic, some of you guys know, and so I had a little bit of a different upbringing. You know, we always knew what we were getting for Christmas in my house. You know, I grew up, and some people don't realize what psychics are about and what they're doing. Same thing with chiropractors. You know, I've always been in a chiropractic care, and some people don't get it. So I'd ask my mom, I said, Mom, you know, how do you know this person's saying this doesn't exist and this person does? So I said, how do you know which theory you go with in the thing? And she told me when I was young. She said, the truth sounds different. It's pretty simple. When you hear something and it rings inside, it goes, right? You know, right? It's almost like the spirits are going, yeah, that's the one, right? And everybody in this room has experienced it sometime or another. So sometimes you need to get reminded to listen to that. Your sternum vibrates, your spine vibrates in a different way, right? But that's the biggest for me has always been is, okay, is that working? Yeah. Or maybe not, right? And the integrity is the thing that allows you to say, no, that's not it. I'm not doing that, right? So that's where the hard knocks come in, is learning to listen to the truth when it feels right.
Any questions? I have a question. When did you start to notice that change, that feeling?
But you notice it all your life. Yeah, well, it's kind of like I did some health talks in Chinese medicine for a while, and it's the same way I try and describe chiropractic to people, is in all things, if what I'm saying is true, you have to have noticed it somewhere else, right? Because the universe doesn't say this is how this thing works and this is how this thing works. It just doesn't work like that. It's you know, the principle is set forth all over. This stuff doesn't work on one person or one breed of person. It's everybody. So if you encounter something that's true, or something that makes sense, most people have heard it before, and you've seen it before, right? So, you know, my mother told me that specifically when I was about 8 years old. But I realized that, yeah, I had been doing it before. And sometimes I forget, and then I have friends that remind me again, and it goes back and forth with the hard knocks.
It just kind of targets the phrase, something people say, rings true, talking about the tone of chiropractic and the kind of tonal nature of the spirit of humanity. So like you said, it vibrates through your spine.
Questions?
I'm sorry, all right, no comments. So my question is,
Yeah.
I get all.
Any other questions?
That's all I have to say.
Pretend I said it while I was standing up, all right?
You were on a roll. I couldn't jump right in. Want somebody else going to do a share now? I'll jump up. Haig, come on up.
Hello. I'm Haig. I know quite a few people here, but I'm Haig. And some of you heard me talk about before, I go on some tirades once in a while, about what's going on in our profession right now and what's happening in our school of thought. The school of thought is what we bring outside of our universities and our schools and what's taught to us by our professors. And that's what we carry on through our futures. And right now there's been some changes, there's been some infiltration that's influencing the way that we do chiropractic. It's become chiropractic, or are we being bastardized by money, by corporate input? So are we changing the way we do chiropractic from what DD's intent was, or for what, affecting human beings from the soul, from their spirit? Does it happen from muscle stim? Is it from bio-freeze, from foot levelers? Well, what I am is a human being. Man, I'm a man being, just being. Okay? From that point on, that's what, human being, chiropractic is a human being. We have to get back to being chiropractic. We have to come back to being chiropractors, and just be and do and serve and give back to humanity. Take away from the corporate input and just be ourselves. Express chiropractic to the world and what we feel is right. The information that we're getting in our soul and our understanding and our belief that we put into that adjustment, that we are helping humanity as a whole. Eventually, the world is, the dynamics of the world is being affected by that one adjustment that you do today from that one person. It spreads the globe. So when we get back to just being ourselves and being chiropractors and expressing that to the world, that's where it starts. It starts at the very beginning.
Question? Questions for Eddie?
Just to want to know what you're doing, to change what you find is kind of unhealthy in the profession.
Well, I've started some small programs, and I started one in California called Chiropractic Discovery, getting first, second try people, even undergrad, doing giving them some philosophy, what I understand is philosophy. Starting off palpation early, adjusting early. And then I've just started another program, Adjusting for Life, there's a family outreach ministry here in town. I got in with them and adjusting people that don't necessarily even have the money to go into our clinics or go anywhere, or doesn't never even heard of chiropractic, and affecting children and their mothers early in their lives so they have all their full potential for the rest of their lives. When they understand chiropractic, they're in a positive atmosphere. Pasquale gave, the wonderful stories we read last night of sick children becoming well again from chiropractic, from their true intent of what you're doing. And those type of things. And I just thought of one just a few minutes ago about adjusted for, what did I write? Hold on. Doing mission trips. People go all over the world doing mission trips, adjusting thousands and thousands of people. But no one does that here in the United States. Where chiropractic, if we did that in the United States, filled a gymnasium filled with people and adjusting them all, boom, boom, and getting just beautiful stories as we do in Guatemala, Belize, Brazil, wherever you are, and just affecting people here, and just the community of chiropractic getting together. How beautiful would that be? Is it possible? It's got to be possible. I don't know how to do it, but it starts as an idea. Be.
You said, going back to the beginning, what is that beginning for you?
I'm trying to find my beginning. And I'm in the search for it, spending time with, great mentors and learning who I am all over again. That the subluxations of my life have made me forget potentially where that soul came from, what the Spirit's understanding was in the beginning. And that growth, from now, the growth I think is forgetting all the subluxations we had to go back and say this is where your core is. And projecting that core. I don't know where my beginning is yet. I'm trying to find it.
Any more questions for me?
My answers are a little long.
They brought it to my attention that while you're on the platform, just don't badmouth anyone. Maybe organizations is a different story, but just keep it clean. So who's going next? Josh?
My name's Josh. It's an honor for me to speak in front of all of you. So when Pasquale was talking last night to me about clearing myself, how the adjustment comes through me, not from me, I was thinking of myself as a conduit, meaning I can do it. And each of us play our own music. And all of us represent our bodies and all music in motion. And from my understanding, talking about tone and matching that tone, as my music plays through me, not from me, I'm matching that tone in that person I'm serving, connecting not from here, but through me, through my heart. And when I connect with that person, opening up more opportunities, who knows where that potential is, and that potential will flow throughout the body. As my music changes, my consciousness increases, and I'm able to connect with people at different levels. When I think of experience that I've been through in my life, that everything happens for a reason, and without me going throughout that experience, I would not be able to stretch my music. So when I think about clearing my space and opening up my channels to connect with people, it feels for me it's all about the love. And when I serve through my abundance, it just opens up more opportunity. And it's just an amazing gift in my life that I get to do what I do every day. And it's like as I'm giving, really I'm receiving, because I'm opening up more possibilities in me. And it's that connection I feel with people that I'm serving is such a gift in my life. And chiropractic is my tool in which I serve through. So I thank all of you.
Questions for Josh?
When you say it goes through you, what is going through you?
Spirit. Spirit from above comes through me and it just comes out, whatever it's supposed to be.
You said conduit, like I can do it. That's but no, how much, it made me think, how much do you think you have to be serious about delivering chiropractic to people, and how much you just let it loose and be funny and let it all break down, and where do you find the balance for you?
I find when I get out of my way and just let whatever's supposed to come through me flow, that's what it's supposed to be. And it's about not, for me, not being serious, but whatever's supposed to come, it is. It is what it is. And I just get out of my way. And when I get out of my way, the possibilities are endless.
More questions?
Yeah, I'm Hispanic. First of all, thank you everybody for coming out. This is a wonderful group of people, and I'm just very happy to be here. So thank you for that. I just want to say that, real quickly, lately I've been going through some really interesting experiences. Very new, very different, things that I've never had before. And I find myself walking into places where I feel a little bit uncomfortable. And when I say uncomfortable, I don't mean it in the bad connotation of disease or something that's not, doesn't feel right. I mean uncomfortable in the sense that I'm out of my comfort zone, okay? And when I'm in this place of being out of my comfort zone, I find that I get to know myself. I see my weaknesses, I see my power, my strength, and I see myself in a new light. It's just fascinating. And being in this place, I feel myself living like on the edge. and I'm just there, kind of just doing my best and just trying to escape myself, the old self, and find this new me that's just beautiful. And that's great. But what I'm realizing now that I'm on the edge is that there's another step. There's the actual step of jumping off the edge, where it's beyond the comfort zone. It's where you live innately, where it's like you're not even thinking. It's not comfort or discomfort. It's a non-dual, trans-rational type of way of being, where you don't think, you don't feel, it's just pure emptiness, zero that Pasquale talks about. And that thing that flows through us that all of you guys are talking about. And in that sense, I just wanted to bring the analogy, the metaphor, that I'm working towards that. That's what I'm striving for. And the metaphor that I think about is the singing bird, the bird song. When birds sing, they don't really care of the audience or the record label or what song they're singing or if anybody likes it. They don't even learn the song. It just kind of comes out. And it's beautiful, beautiful sound that comes out of the birds. And I think when we serve chiropractic, we should be like the birds. Just sing our song like Josh was just saying. And look at nature and just try to express that innate that just goes through us, just like the birds, you know. And I find that I'm not ready to take that step yet, but I wanted to share that with you guys. Show you that after you step out of your comfort zone, which that's the first step, that's not where to stop. You know, you just jump off that edge and fly and be like the birds. That's it.
Your old comfort zone and your old patterns of living, and when you would find yourself in a situation where you would revert to for safety reasons of whatnot, what has been your most valuable tool or for a pattern interrupter in order to step into your higher self and sing your true song?
I think the people, I was talking with Josh today about people being mirrors and just being very aware of the people that are around you, because they, especially really good friends, that will tell you what's up. If they don't say it verbally, you'll just see the things in them that kind of you dislike and kind of push your buttons. And that's usually the things that I'm doing that I don't like about myself. And seeing it in them kind of pushes me to just bring me the awareness that that's there and that I have something to work towards. And of course, you know, there's a quality going to camp or doing other things that you can do that way. Just always look for that challenge, you know, something that you think it's not going to be comfortable, it's going to push your buttons, just go for it. Go find yourself, and it's a beautiful thing.
You indicated that there's a step that you weren't aware of outside your comfort zone before you fall off the edge. Do you think that when that step becomes comfort, you'll find you have another step,
Oh, yeah.
and another step, and another step before you fall off the edge?
It's infinite. It's totally, that's growth. I mean, and that's like, it's like, I don't know if anybody agrees, but reincarnation, I feel that's what it is. You know, you go through this life and, you know, we go learn these lessons, or comfort zone, or whatever metaphor we're using. I just keep going, it's never ever going to stop. But right now I just found this door that just opened, I'm like, wow, look at that. Maybe I should go that far, I might stay here.
When you talk about coming to the edge and flying, what happens if you fall? What do you do to get back up again?
What I think is when you jump off and you don't fly and you fall, I think the harder you hit the floor, the better, because that's the biggest lessons come from that hit. And from staying on that edge, you're not going to learn as much. So keep jumping, keep falling down, and keep getting hit. You know, that's learning, that's growth. If you don't get that, you're just stagnant. All the bacteria and worms and all that stuff comes in there. One more. Thank you.
levels of truth, it all starts coming together. It's not coming from us. It's not what you call like our subjective truth, the absolute truth. And your subjective truth is your thoughts and your feelings, your own opinions, which are not important. Pasquale last night said when he adjusts, he clears his mind. He doesn't think of anything. And someone said, well, how do you do that? Like, how do you not think of anything? You know, you don't think of the direction you're going to adjust or whatever. And the answer was no, you don't think of anything. Because he's not doing it. He's letting the Spirit come through. And it's all about being present. Just like you said, there's no time, there's no such thing as time. When we talk about what really matters, what counts, there is no time for this. It's only now. It's being present. And when you're being present, you're not living into the future. You're not thinking about what you have to do, what you should do, what needs to be done. You're not living out of the past. You're not thinking about what I should have done or dragging any baggage with you. You're just being there with what you are, who you're with, and doing what you're doing. Being who you're being. And for us, for all of us, for everyone, even if they don't know it, it's being service of other people. And this higher level of truth starts all coming together because Evan was talking about when you hear truth, it just resonates inside you. So people who are psychic, this is just my perception of it, have a much closer connection they're able to feel when that little bell is ringing. Or when Ishi said, like the songbird singing. Everything that was spoken here today was so great and takes a higher level of truth, closer to absolute truth. Which is, you also mentioned that absolute truth, which doesn't come from us, it comes from above. You clear out all the garbage, and the truth unfolds itself. And there's so much power and there's so much love here, and I want to thank you all. Questions?
Do you think absolute truth can be described using any language we've discovered on the planet yet?
Absolute truth at its highest level is ineffable. Ineffable can't be put into words. There's certain things that just are and can't be explained. Because when you try to explain things with words, you're at the level of reason. And as Pasquale said, there's things that are higher. You have to just give up your thoughts of cause and effect, thinking that everything has a cause and everything. Because then, then you go back to like, why are we even here? What's the cause of life? And you're in a catch-22 circle because you're doing it at the level of reason. And your brain can only handle that level. So you're limiting your progress in spiritual growth and consciousness. Who's mentioning consciousness before? Josh? Right? It all comes together.
Right. But isn't the most ordinary mundane experience still imbued with that absolute truth and therefore ineffable? So ultimately all reality being ineffable.
Absolutely. Everything that is, everything you experience is what it is. And its absolute essence is ineffable. For me to see something on the wall here and see the beauty in it and to describe it, I can only describe my perception of it, which is not absolute truth, it's subjective truth. Because if I were at the highest level, I wouldn't be, like, there's things about this that I don't even know, that maybe some more scientists will study and find out even more stuff about it. I can only describe it to my level of it. And everything that exists has its purpose, and everything is beautiful. And everything has more to it than we know. So, does that answer your question? Trying to get some more questions. Thanks, I love you all. Awesome. I feel very alive. Very awesome. So this is all part of it, getting up here, and that might be your comfort zone, is getting up here and speaking your truth. And if you haven't got a clue as to the work we're going to be doing, that's it, is speaking your truth and serving people and adjusting people. So it's forums like this to the guys, Delta 6, thank you so much for creating this. Purpose group of guys, and their impact is definitely cannot be overstated. So wherever the forum is, this is the work that has to be done, and it's It's being done on campus, around campus, in and out of campus. Go and find that place that you live and get out of your comfort zone and start to serve, start to communicate, create groups for yourself, and start getting up in front and speaking, challenging each other. I know soon we're going to learn how to communicate in Spanish. I can barely communicate it in English. And, Josue Nishi, we're going to teach us how to communicate it, just the bare basics in Spanish. And that's probably where we're going to learn so much about ourselves and how to communicate it simply. And then I'll probably just relate this back to English and use that simply. Why would I need any more words than what I would use in Spanish? And just all the things. There's so many creative and powerful people in here, and we're just a tribe, and it's awesome. So, a couple things. If anybody has any more questions for Pasquale, I'm sure he'll answer them. Everybody stick around. I know the guys got a barrel of beer, and so everybody hang out and drink some beers and talk with each other and connect. People that you didn't know before, connect with them and see who you resonate with, and do the work. Do the work. Period.
Can I just give a message to the group? I spoke with Denise
Louder.
Evans by email. I know people have gotten it about New Beginnings and she's willing to house people, but she also told me that she wants to give back, especially to the students. And she said she's willing to either pay for hotel rooms for us and get that all set up for us, or pay for registration if anybody needs it. So if you need any one of those, please let me know. And also I want to know if anybody wants to form some groups as far as transportation, or if you've done that, let me know. So just wanted to let
What she's talking about is New Beginnings. Pasquale, this is Pasquale's family, and I know I'm going to speak for Pat. He loves each and every one of you so much. He's doing this his life's work, and just he wants to give. His only request, and I talked to people up in New York, and I'm trying to prepare. Ishi and I are trying to get, okay, what do we need? What kind of whiskey and stuff. But all he wants to do is like make sure that there's kids around, make sure there's people. I just want to be with the kids. I want to learn, and that's what he cares about. Is perpetuating this chiropractic and keeping that going, because he understands the importance of where this whole thing is going and what needs to be done. So, besides this being his family, he does have another. It's the New Beginnings family, which they are so grateful and fortunate to have him a part of. And that's what Carrie's talking about, is creating a group. Chiropractor at Arno's camp we just went to, like she was just saying, is volunteered to help pay for hotel rooms. The van has lent us, the school has lent us the vans for the past, several New Beginnings. So we get those for free. So basically it costs you a few bucks in gas to get up there, and whatever you need to eat. And hotel rooms.
And a couple of beers for me.
Couple of beers as well. So, and a few, if you bring in a few ladies, the rest of
please do come to the New Beginnings. I need you. I need you. I can't do this job alone. This is a big job. All of us have to do it. So let's stick together. Now, if some of you were at New Beginning in January of 1998, when I got on that platform, my spirit friends took over. And what I said that night, I don't remember. But I do remember the last part. I spoke to the audience. Said you must go out and preach chiropractic. Were you there? Preach chiropractic to all the nations. That didn't say religion, it didn't say medicine, but it said that of chiropractic. That of chiropractic. The message is important. I can't do it alone. I need help. So please be at New Beginnings. Please. Thank you. And one more thing. You heard the passage. Know the truth, and the truth will make you free. We're not there yet, but at least we know where the truth lies, and when we get there, we'll be free. Thank you.